Hello and welcome to our podcast. This is Karthik,
This is Aafreen.
and today we're going to be talking about the mini series The Penguin. I wasn't too excited about The Penguin because it was a show about a villain, and I was thinking, why would I want to watch the show about a villain? He's one of the Batman villains. We have had Danny DeVito play him way back in the 90s. So I was like, not too excited. And I remember me and Aafreen were discussing if we need to watch it or not, but it was getting some rave reviews. So we started watching it a little late. And that the first episode, we started with the first episode. So let me start with your impression about the series before you started watching it and what happened when you watched the first episode.
Actually, some actors really excite me. Like Colin Farrell started with a movie called Phone Booth. And so I knew him as a total commercial hero. And then he did the movie called The Banshees of Inisherin that was nominated for Oscar. He got nominated for being in the actors category. So I really started respecting him as an actor because before that, I just knew him as a very commercial actor, not doing any kind of substantial roles. So, and this guy, Penguin, doesn't look anything like Colin Farrell. And so that kind of like confused me. Like, why would you change your personality to an extent where you're not even recognizable as an actor? Not one trace of the actor is in this guy, right? So I'm not
Yeah.
a big fan of superhero movies and comics as such. I don't have as much insight as Karthik does. But I am very patient when it comes to watching series. I'm game to watch anything because sometimes you discover true gems. Like The Wire was such that it tested our patience, but when we got into it, we were like, uh, our mind was blown. This one has an
Yeah.
8.8 rating. So anything above 7 rating is actually a good watch. And 8.8 rating, then I had to watch it. And I'm patient enough to watch it till the end. I never leave anything. The most boring movies, I don't leave them in the middle. And when I was creating the background here, I saw like it says the city will be his. I wish I had seen this poster before because it kind of gives it all away. But I think here um, the real thing is that you may not fully like a person, you may not fully hate a person, but you want to try to understand their journey and the choices they make and try to see if you can find some resonance with it. And it's very difficult to find any resonance with the penguin, but yeah. So yeah, that's why we started watching it for me, just because of the actor.
Great. And I would also like to talk about the movie The Banshees. I remember you recommending that movie to me and we started watching it together, or I don't remember that. But anyways, I was never a big fan of Colin Farrell. Going into that movie, I was like, oh, this is the guy. And I started watching the movie, but I really fell in love with this character. He's so innocent in the movie, the way he performed it, right? So I can say that today I have a lot of respect for Colin Farrell. Now with Penguin, it's gone even more. The way he's performed him, his accent, the way he talks, and everything, the way he looks. Of course, it's prosthetics, but still to carry that look and to make it your own, right? So, great respect now for Colin Farrell. I'm excited for all his movies. I might watch some of his old movies as well. So that's my change of opinion about Colin Farrell now because of the Penguin. So when the episode started, right, the Penguin episode started, we'll go now into the story and what happens. Spoilers ahead. We might be talking about some important plot twists and turns while we are doing this podcast. Even if we don't intend, it might come out, right?
So at the
Director, right?
end of every episode, they talk about the episode, and we didn't watch it because automatically, like, you have to consciously watch it, otherwise it just skips to the next one. So
Hmm.
today, just as a revision, I kind of watched all the last ones. And so when he's getting rid of the Falcon's son's body, there are these bunch of kids who have stolen the wheels of his car. And when he comes and when he starts shooting them or something, all of them run away except for one guy who's like stuttering. So his name is Victor. a young teenage boy maybe, and he stutters. So Penguin, his name Penguin comes because he has a limp in his leg, and so when he sees this Victor guy stutter, he's like, oh, this guy also has some sort of disability. That's why, he's like um feeling like an outsider. He's not accepted by the society as a normal person. So he kind of identifies with that, and he takes him under his wing.
Yeah.
I mean, there are obviously benefits to him, but still, there is some sort of, brothership between them, or at one point they
Father
even
son, actually, more than that. I looked at him
that
as
develops
father
over
son.
a
Yeah.
period of time, but in the beginning,
Yeah.
it's just that stutter and the disability of Penguin. His name is
Right.
actually Oswald, and he's known as Oz. And
Mm.
Oz and Victor then start working together, and that's what the first episode establishes, that these two are going to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. But I remember you talking about the pitch.
Author pitched to HBO that there is this obviously a gangster family, and they are running Gotham City. But the son, when he's about to take over, he just gets killed in the first 10 minutes. And apparently, they approved the series just because of that pitch, that, oh, within 10 minutes, what? They were taken aback, like, what happened? So I was like, wow, great.
Exactly, that was our reaction to, and that was what I was trying to come to. So our reaction to that, we thought, okay, this is going to be, and we didn't know anything about the series going into it, ki what is going to happen and all. Like you said, that we didn't know the city will be his, so we didn't know what exactly was going to happen. I knew it was going to be the backstory of Penguin and how he's going up the ranks and all, but that was a shocking moment. And he doesn't kill him because he decides to kill him. He kills him because he makes fun of him, calling him the Penguin, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So they say that the worst thing that you can do in front of Penguin is to laugh when you're not supposed to laugh. So anybody who kind of makes fun of him or laughs at him or tries to test him, like we will discuss it further. But he immediately like takes revenge, like without any conscience, without any mercy, without any like it brings out pure evil in him, like pure evil, like. Bapre. It
yes.
gives me like chills to the bones to even think of how brutal he is. Like he's not brutal, he's like pure evil. Not a trace of humanity
Absolutely.
is there in him.
For me, the turning point of the series is episode 4, and absolutely mind blown. If you see, I have the background of Sofia. The reason is I am a huge Sofia fan now because of episode 4. Uh, the way she acted in that and her entire character background that was shown, she suddenly became, for me, she's the protagonist of the Penguin. Although the show is about the Penguin, but for me, the show became about her from that episode. And at that episode, the emotional resonance that I had with her character
Yeah.
and the fact that she was not the villain, she was not the hangman. It was her father who implicated her, and all the things that come out,
He
and her.
not only like built a narrative that she killed 7 women, he also like instead of making her win the court case, he kind of puts her in a mental asylum called Arkham. And there,
Right.
the torture she endures, like he could have at least spared her. Ki, Arey, now she is in the prison, and she's just like going to be there for decades. And let me not worry. He further tortures her. Like the torture is like another level. Like you're like, Arey bapre, like nobody should
Yeah.
ever go through this torture. You're already in a mental asylum, which is torture enough, but he doesn't spare her. He's never kind to her. It is so unbelievable what a father could do to a child. Like, I don't get it. There are a lot of things in this season, in this series that you will not get, like you'll not understand, but I think they just want to, yeah, bring that out that, this is unbelievable. I think a lot of people in mental asylum are put there by their relatives. That may, that is
I
probably
heard
true.
about some things. I won't want to go into it, but I heard about some things in India from
Yeah.
someone who knows that such things are done. But nevertheless, I think this series brings out the darkest side of humans in such a
Absolutely.
way that you're shocked, but you're also like believing it because the way it's done, right? And it
Yeah.
is, I mean, that way the series is super dark. And but that
So
also creates that
after the
emotional, sorry.
Yeah, after watching that torture, we are on Sophia's side. We are like, oh my God, she's been
Absolutely, yeah.
wronged, and we feel protective towards her. We are like, no, she should come up. She should take revenge from everybody. And then what a revenge she takes, right? Like that thing which she does to the entire family all at once. That was
Right,
like,
right.
what do you call it in chess? Checkmate. Yeah, it was a checkmate. Like everybody's gone. The whole army of gangsters on her side is gone, and the patriarchy of all it is gone as well. She's like, I no longer give a fuck about my dad's legacy. I'm going to be my take on my mom's name, Gigante, and now from now on, this is a new family of drug lords called the Gigantes. So we're like, yay!
Yes,
Yeah, so it was
exactly.
a
Right.
turning point, absolutely.
Exactly. So, from that point, that emotional connection was built between the audience and Sophia's character. And after that, whatever happens in the series, at least for me, was to know how she's going to eventually dominate this proceedings and going to be the one who is going to own the city. But because it is the penguin and because we have it in the poster as well, such things don't happen. It comes so
But
close.
but still, I like the way, like, Penguin, yeah, as you said, right? Like either somebody saves him from an impossible situation. One time Victor saves him. The second time, he actually is in he kidnaps the son of Salvador and then Taj, I think, right? And then he sends it back to the wife. And while the exchange is going on, the bullets are raining on him, and we're like, there is no way he's going to escape. The garage door is closed, and then we see that he has already doused the son with petrol. And when the mom is hugging the son, she's also doused in petrol. And, while this impossible raining of bullets is happening and there is no way he can escape, he just lights the lighter and both of them are immediately like burned. So we are like, oh, we didn't see that coming. So a lot of things you don't see coming, and then it takes you by surprise. So then, that's where another turning point. Like he actually delivers a big speech. He goes to convince everybody. He gives everybody a beer, and they're like drug lords, right? They're like, "Ye kya? What is this beer being handed to us?" So he's like,
Yeah.
"Take a chill pill, listen to me." But he delivers a speech of a leader, like like he wants to be the leader of all those people of Gotham City underworld. So he actually delivers a great speech, and I was like, oh my God, like he does a good job of it. So and they're like, yeah, okay, we are with you. So
Yes, exactly. And there is this constant battle after episode 4 that happens between the penguin and Sophia's character.
okay.
So we are like this one-upmanship. We don't know where it is going to go. And when we start thinking that penguin, after the speech and after he gets that basement for himself, where he starts regrowing the bliss and those mushrooms and starts making that drug and starts dominating the whole city, we think, okay, now Penguin has a upper hand. There is this huge bomb that goes and destroys the entire underground tunnel, right? Complete tunnel. And we think, okay, it's over for Penguin. He's caught by Sofia. And, then there is this big change that happens towards the end. But before that, for me, after episode 4, emotional resonation, and I think episode 5 and 6 were trying to show us what's happening and how they are trying to dominate, both of them trying to dominate this entire city of Gotham. But the next emotional resonation that I had with the series was episode 7. And that's the background story of Penguin. So if people didn't hate Penguin enough until then, I am sure that they would hate him the most after the revelation that
Oh my
happens and the
God.
way that happens. Maybe I will not spoil it for the people, but the twist that happens with Penguin when he was a child, and we get to know his background as a child, how insecure he was. Maybe because he lost his leg at, or rather, he had a problem with his leg at such a young age. He's always insecure about his mother's love for him as well, and we see that
He's
the
very
mother.
needy. He's almost like a pet dog. Like, he's always like, okay, let's do this, let's be together, let's
Yeah,
watch a movie. So and she's like, oh, he's so needy, and she does pamper him, but she has other children
yeah,
as well. But I wanted to
exactly.
discuss with you, like, When somebody loves somebody too much, like, how does it become too much? Like, is it a modern concept that, this is too much love and I don't need, you know, you know what I mean? Like, it's so strange, this concept of too much love. Like, what is too much love, right? So,
I don't have a problem with too much love, but I had a problem with the thing that he does to make sure that his love is only for her. The
hmm.
possessiveness
I think
of
neediness
that
and
love.
love are very different things. Like you can love a person to the extent that it's all positive and good for him, but when that love becomes like destructive, like she's working and he's like, no, 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 let's watch a movie, or it becomes all about himself. Like I need this and I need to watch a movie, and I probably he doesn't have many friends. I think that neediness kind of because of our modern lifestyle, maybe in the old days people had all the time to be, giving the other person all the time that they
No, I
needed, but
don't think that is also a problem, right? I'm sure the mother was much more happy to give as much love as he wanted. It's not the neediness that is a problem. The problem is that he wants it only and only for himself. He
hmm.
doesn't want to share it at all. And that even 100 years back and today or any time in
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
entire lifespan that we have had is always a problem. When you
Yeah,
need someone's love only and only for yourself,
only
right? We are not born like that, right? We are
and
born,
attention probably as well, right?
yeah, we are born to a parent, and we the parent loves us, right? And then we are going to have a family, we are going to have siblings,
Yeah,
and then we're going to marry someone,
yeah, yeah,
we're going to have friends. So the love is always going to be shared with so many people, and
yeah,
each love is special for us, right? And it
yeah,
is different. So if you start expecting that this person is only yours and not anyone else's in the world, that is a problem. And she has two
yeah,
sons apart from him. So expecting that he's the only person that she should love and not his brothers is a huge problem. And he also has that kind of devotion towards his mother that
mm.
not only does he expect all of that from her, he also wants to give that all back to her. So that's his level of love for her. So it's a two-way thing. I mean, expectation wise, right? He's giving all that to her, and in return, he's expecting all that from her. But that becomes a huge problem, and what he does as a result of that is something that brings the darkest side of him as a child. Can you believe that? As a child you see that dark side of him, and right away you're like, oh my god, this guy has so much problems even as a kid, and now he's grown into this big adult, and we see a lot of issues, but we know where it stems from. I think you wanted to say something here.
The mother also is like, I don't know, weird personality, right? Like weird mindset.
I didn't find that.
She
I know that people would probably question that. You can give your point of view rather than, give my
I
point of view.
mean, she doesn't sever her relationship with him because of whatever he did. She wants to use him just because he promises that one day he will give her a penthouse and he'll take care. Like, what the hell is going on? I think when people are not independent, especially financially, there is so much ill will that happens. The morality goes for a toss, bad things come in the forefront, and a lot of things like that. Like the ideal, people are not able to take the ideal decisions. But I think that's life. So, yeah, without judging, but there is, I wouldn't say that mother is like an absolute 100% pure person either. She has this dubiousness about her as well.
Yeah. So let me. So this episode, as I said, not this episode. The series brings the dark side out, or it goes into that depth of our personality, our psychology, right? It goes
Yeah.
completely into depth, and we see that dark side coming out of human beings that sometimes it's really hidden within all of us,
Yeah.
but it never comes out. So we see that. So even as a mother, now let me give you my reason or my point of view about the mother. Okay. And I think maybe I will have to spoil it now because it might be difficult to not spoil it and still talk about it. Think of it this way, that she has three sons, and she loves all the three of them equally. I I don't know. At least I didn't observe what was her background. Her husband, he was a failed criminal, I believe. That's my understanding. But she is in a good relationship, or with another gangster, right? And he uses her help, and he gives her money in return. Now, I didn't go much into it, what she does for him and what kind of help she gives him, but she's able to survive because of that. And she's in the good books of that guy, and he's kind of taking care of her children. So that's the background of the mother. She's taking care of three children all by herself. A strong, independent woman, I would say, in that context, right? Of course, she has her dreams. She had a husband who could never give her fulfill her dreams. So she's dissatisfied because of that. But nevertheless, she's taking care of her children to the best of her abilities.
Yeah.
And the way she is interacting with the penguin character, Oswald Cobb, is also very beautiful in the beginning. The way she takes care of him and the way she talks to him, like a very proper mother, right? And then she loses two of her sons. She doesn't know what happened to them, and once she finds out what happened to them, just put yourself in the place of that mother. You have your own son killing two of your other sons. It's like your own hand taking your other hand. It's You don't know what to do. Do you take revenge with your left hand, making yourself completely handicapped?
Hmm.
What do you do in that situation? You hate this hand because it took away this hand of yours, but on the other hand, you have to deal with this hand as well because this is your own, or else you have nothing. But she takes that
Yeah.
brave decision of deciding to let go of this hand of hers also. That might be considered very dark by many, but that
Yeah.
was her emotional state, and I completely understand that emotional state. How could someone be so evil? She says he's evil, he's the most evil person in the world. She starts hating him. She doesn't have any love left for him because she sees the devil in him. And the way he is, right? Even after doing something as bad as what he did, I mean, I thought of the undoing while I was watching this, and not exactly, but Hugh Grant's character lets his sister, I mean, unfortunately, his sister dies. But what hits the parents is the fact that there was no remorse, or there was no guilt, or there was no emotional breakdown of Hugh Grant's character, right? We remember
Hmm.
discussing that. And I
Yeah.
wanted to see his side of the story, though, when I was watching The Undoing. Here also, I don't know what's happening in Penguin's head. Did he ever feel guilty? We didn't see that part of it. Maybe he never, maybe he was okay with it. It didn't affect him at all, which is so horrible, right? But she can see that, right? She can see that he's not even affected. He's living his life normally, and he's trying to pamper his mother. He's trying to make her feel
Yeah.
better. That makes her feel even worse for him, that he's such an evil person. He's killed his own brother. He's not let me know about that. And he continues to act as if nothing has happened. And I completely
Yeah.
understand her completely cutting off from him. So at that point, she's cut off from him. He's no longer in love with her son, which is very odd to believe because, as I said, you can never stop loving your own body part like your hand or something, right? But she does. That's the effect of what he did. So at that point, once she decides that since she hates him so much, she's going to get rid of him, and that's when she decides to go for that one last meal, right? The last meal with him, goes to a
Yeah.
big diner and decides, okay, this is that last day I'm going to have with my son. And obviously, it's such a big decision that she has to take, right? So she's not going to be clear. It's not going to be that straightforward, okay, I'm going to get rid of him. She's already confused. Then she
Yeah.
starts thinking about her own self. Like I said about the hand, if you lose this hand, you're handicapped, right? You can't do anything. So that's when she becomes a little practical. Now that she's already lost her love for her son, it's easy for her to become practical. So she
Hmm.
decides that instead of me killing him, why not use him? I hate him. I don't love him at all. I have no emotional connection with him. So instead of
Hmm.
just losing his life, why don't I use him to my advantage? Why don't I make him do things for me? And I'm going to be
Yeah.
super practical with him. I'm going to be like the worst mother in the world because I don't care for him. And it's coming from the place of heart. I don't care for him. So I'm going to make him do bad things. Let him do the bad things and let him give me that pleasure that I'm looking for. So I completely understand her point of view. It
Hmm.
is dark, but it is understandable because she's got no feelings towards him. She treats him like a third person who she's going to use for her own advantage. Let's see what he does. And that speech that he gives to her, he's good at speeches from the time he was a child, right? He gives to her, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to give you a penthouse view house and, the city view house in a penthouse, the top floor, and all these things. And she's looking at him and she's kind of evaluating it in her head as a practical person. Okay, let me do this. Let me not get rid of him. And from that day, she's just trying to use him. So that is my take on her character. I love the way they explore the dark side of human beings in this whole
Yeah.
series, and it's
I
chilling
feel
at
like
so many points.
I
Yeah,
feel like a lesser degree of it has happened in our lives, in all of our lives. You can say that a lesser degree of it has happened. So that's why you can't really hate Penguin, you can't really love Penguin. You can't really hate Sophia, you can't really love Sophia. Like it's all over the place because,
I love
that's
Sophia.
like you love Sophia. Okay.
Yeah, I love Sophia. I mean,
I think
every time
I
when she was doing something wrong, right? I was like, if she's going to cross this line, I might be confused. I'll give you two examples. Once when she kills the entire family, but she leaves the her niece, right? I think it's her niece. So I was like, okay, she didn't do the worst thing possible. If she had even killed the niece, it would have been the worst thing possible. Then again, she goes to meet her niece when she realizes that she might give out that secret. I was
Mhm.
at that point thinking, okay, she might get rid of the niece. So I, as a fan of Sophia, was hoping that she doesn't. And she actually doesn't. So it made me love her a little more. In fact,
Yeah.
she goes and she's so emotionally affected by that conversation that she has with her niece that she decides that she is not going to follow the path of her father. She doesn't want to become the biggest don.
Yeah,
She
I
just
like
wants to
that
take her
part as
revenge.
well. I like that part as well, where she is going to give up Gotham City altogether and just go away somewhere. I do like that part because I don't know, drugs and all. I don't know how people live with that consciousness of killing and spoiling people's life without any conscience. Like these people don't even think of it as a bad thing. They think of it as a recreation. So yeah, I did like that part. But the
Yeah,
series is not Sophia, right? So
no, for me it is Sophia, as I said. But let me also tell a little bit more about her character. So she decides, okay, I'm going to give up everything. But before I give up everything, I'm going to destroy everything that belonged to my father. And the way she destroys the entire home, she puts fire, she lights three cigarettes. She's the hero of the series. The way she
yeah,
does the things also, three
right.
cigarettes, she lights them up, and one by one she goes into each room and destroys the entire house. Wonderful, she was like that. If I was watching it in the theater, I would be whistling and clapping for her. That's the impact she had. Then one more time when I felt that she could cross that line was when I thought she might end up killing the mother. She had all the reasons to do. She wanted to hurt Penguin the most, but she
Yeah.
doesn't kill the mother. And when she explodes, using that doctor explores the dark
Hmm.
side of that mother, the way she
Yeah.
explores it and the way that revelation to her itself shakes her up. And that scene where the son is on the chair and there is this mother who's sitting and
And they're going to
she's
cut
making
the
the
mother's
mother.
finger.
Yeah, even she doesn't do that. She's shocked that Penguin almost lets them cut the finger of the mother, right? But she
Yeah.
doesn't do that. She threatens, but she tries her best to stop that. And eventually she stops that because, the mother comes out and she speaks the truth. That's
Yeah.
the mother's revelation, right? At that point, we come to know what the mother has been going through all these years. She says, I
Yeah.
hated you all through. I I despise you. You are the worst thing in the world. You are the most evil thing in the world. I just used you. That is one thing that I didn't realize at that point, which I would give credit to Emergency Awesome, where he spoke about it. Penguin has this nature, and I think I also have this nature. Um, Whenever he is confronted with the truth and the bad side of the truth, which can devastate him, he tries to ignore that in his head. He tries to make himself believe that that didn't happen at all. So when his mother says all the things that she says, he switches that switch gets on when she falls down. He picks her up and he acts as if nothing happened. she doesn't hate him. She didn't say all those things. He still continues to treat her normally, like, she's the same mother, and mother, I know, I love you so much. I want to do the things for you. So it's like he, took that thing out of his head that she said such a thing to him. I mean, I would have thought that he would be devastated completely at that point when his mother says that I never loved you from the day, and I knew all through that what you did. It wasn't a surprise to me. We think that this is going to destroy him completely. The person for whom he's doing everything knows it all and she hates him. But it doesn't
Yeah.
destroy him. In fact, he becomes even more strong after that. He's like, no,
He
it didn't happen
he
at
gets
all.
removed from reality, like he's removed from reality, right? Like an out of
Yes.
body experience, like he's in another world. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that whole scene was like chilling for me. But as I said, Sophia doesn't do anything wrong through the series. I mean, she kills a lot of people, which but most of them are bad people, right? Yes,
Yes.
I felt bad for a character when she actually ends up blowing this entire tunnel, and a lot of normal people die as a result. So maybe she doesn't have that conscience. I mean, when she's possessed with revenge, she doesn't think about the what do you call it?
Think
Collateral
all
damage.
that is done for effect, if a mass destruction is not happening, that doesn't like the torture in the jail is not like normal torture, right? It's level of torture. First there is this magpie, then there's that crazy person who kills herself with a fork. The level of torture has to increase, so the level of destruction also has to increase. And
Yeah.
whoever dies in the tunnel or the collapse of that road is all bad people working in the mushroom factory, right? So I think we are okay with that.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say here is that I would say that except for the times when she is possessed by revenge, she is a very normal human being, and she is a
Yeah, she
person
has. Yeah,
who wants normal things in her life, but she's been done so much bad
yeah,
in her life, right? So many bad things have happened to her. So she has that vendetta inside her. And I
yeah,
love that when, as an audience, I love to see
yeah,
it coming out the way it comes out. But that's the bad side of her which comes out, right? I mean, killing anyone is always considered to be bad, so that's a bad side. But we don't mind that bad side because it is mostly against the bad people, so we are
yeah.
okay with that. So for me, the series is Sophia. I don't mind calling it instead of the Penguin. I don't mind it being named as Sophia. Although I know and I accept the fact that this is about more about the Penguin, but I'm glad that they gave so much time, screen time, and so much of character building for Sophia as well. I think equally. I don't think there was
Equally.
even 1% less in comparison to Penguin. So all through the series, although Penguin ends up winning in the end, but Sophia's character is someone that we are. I mean, the revelation is there for her character as much as Penguin, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that episode 7 and 8, I fell in love with both those episodes. The dark side of Penguin, the dark side of the mother coming out, and how Sophia is involved in this whole thing. How she helps to
Mhm.
bring that out and break Penguin for that one last time. And he doesn't get broken. He still continues to survive and come out of that once again extraordinarily impossible situation. And then he does something which I would say not the worst, because killing the brothers is the worst, but I would say the second worst thing in the series that he does. Should we give that out? I mean, okay, he does something which is
No, no,
horrible.
no.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's the
it's
second worst
it's
thing he does. He
it's
just goes
like,
down and down as a character,
yeah,
right?
it's like why? There's no logic and there's like, yeah, how can he? But it's just terrible.
Yes. And I think there is one more worst thing that he does after that. So after all of this, so he's about to get Sophia killed, and I thought, okay, she's going to die here, and I was already, hoping that that doesn't happen. So she doesn't die, but she ends up in the worst place, her nightmare, her
It's like,
hell,
no,
right?
we can't take it anymore. Like, she's already suffered for a decade. Like, can you please not put her in Arkham? Like, how is that even possible? Like, it's the
But
worst thing possible for her. Like, it's worst
but
thing
there is
possible for
hope.
anybody. But yeah.
But there is hope for two reasons. One, the doctor is the same doctor who's in love with her. So we know
Yeah.
that he's going to kind of take care of her.
Yeah.
And there is this huge reveal of people who have watched Batman movie. We get a reveal that Selena Kyle, Zoe Kravitz, is the one who is the half sister of Sofia, and she's probably going to make sure that Sofia is taken care of. So there is
Hope
that,
so. We are praying for her to come out again. So yeah.
yeah, so there is that hope, right? And I hope she gets her personal revenge eventually in the end. But the last scene of the series is probably the very disturbing scene, right? So first he takes his mother to the top of the penthouse with the city view. She is in a vegetative state. She doesn't have, she's not going to react, but he still is looking for validation from her. He's still hoping to hear those last words. So that's a kind of bittersweet thing for him. He's got everything, but the person he cares the most for, and whose validation he needs the most, cannot validate it, right? So, but we
Yeah.
see that tear coming out of her eyes because she is so devastated by this character of his son, right? He's like, he still doesn't understand. He still doesn't know what's happening. He's living in a delusional state. And then the worst thing that any person could do, he has that lady. What's her name?
Eve.
Eve. So he has Eve dress up like his mother. The day they went into that dining, he has her dress up as his mother and he has a dance with her and he makes her say that I am proud of you. And it's almost, I mean, you're paying a prostitute to be your mother and dance with you. How delusional can you be? And how, I mean, this is the lowest point of any human being, So I was like, wow, this is the worst thing that I could see of Penguin. He keeps going to the worst level possible, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then there is this final hope when we see the Batman logo. We know that Batman is coming, and that's kind of setting up Batman 2 for us. So we know that now there is going to be something happening. It could be Penguin versus Batman, or there could be many more villains in Batman 2, but it sets up for. So this is the overall experience for me. I loved Sofia. I I won't say I hated Penguin, but I was like amazed by his dark side. I loved the emotional revelations and the exploration of the dark side of every character. So that was my take of the series, and that's why I loved the series so much. It's apparently got one of the best ratings as far as the finale is concerned. The two most highly rated episodes are also my favorite episodes. One is the episode where we see the background of Sophia's character and how she was put in the asylum and what happened with her in the asylum. That got 9.4. The finale has got a rating of 9.6, which is one of the highest rated episodes ever,
Yeah.
finale ever, right? I think 9.8 is the highest for Breaking Bad, and this comes in amongst the top few.
Yeah.
So I think great climax, great ending, and some wonderful episodes. So I absolutely love the series. You want to say something?
I mean, discussing it with you has further given me a deeper analysis of the character building. I love the Arkham episode of Sophia's life and how she dealt with a decade of torture and unbelievable things that her own dad did. And the further, psyche of mom and Penguin and everybody, like, it's a great insight. I think, as I said, I could identify a smaller degree of that in my own life, and so that's why I'm not able to hate Penguin fully, hate his mom fully. So yeah, yeah, I loved our discussion on this. So, but a must watch into
Absolute must
how
watch. Yeah.
great characters are built and how they leave a big impact in you and how they open up your world. Like, you also kind of go into an analytical mode. And yeah, so for that reason, for the performances, I'm so glad for this actress. I don't know her name, but I'm so glad she got cast from, an absolute rom-com here. So yeah, I mean, good things all around.
Absolutely. So please watch this series. Even if you have not watched Batman, like you don't remember Batman, but you still enjoyed the series. So even if you have not watched DC comic movies or
Because there
Batman
was
and
no
don't know much
superhero
about,
in this.
yes, exactly. So, even if you have not, if you don't have any background about these characters, you would still love the series because you kind of get to know them through the series and complete exploration of their characters from the beginning till the end, right? So, please watch this. It's highly recommended. It's one of the highest rated shows. For me, it's the second best TV series among comic book after Loki season 2. I love Loki season 2 the most, but after that, it's the second best for me amongst the comic book TV series, right? So, uh, uh, that's it from our end. Anything else? Any finishing words from your end,
No,
Afreen?
that's it. Yeah, you will enjoy it. Like, there is a lot to enjoy. There is a lot to learn, like what people do wrong, and while filmmakers who get it wrong and filmmakers who get it right. I mean, we were discussing how Jigra was not effective. So if they had shown the torture like this, Jigra could have
Mm,
been effective. So yeah, it's a great
yeah,
lesson. It's yeah, it's a detail. The details will like make your day.
absolutely. So, thank you for watching our podcast and talk to you soon.
Subscribe to our channel.
And
We
like and
never say
comment.
that.
Yes, please subscribe to our channel, like and comment, and also please watch my movie Karma Strikes. I'll be putting the link of for it in the end. So please click on that and watch it.
Please
And
comment on our videos. We are not getting any comments. I don't know.
yeah,
I feel like somebody should hate us also. Like,
yeah,
give us
I'm sure
something.
there might be people who might be hitting us. So yeah, please come out in the open and tell us what you think about us. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Bye.